Hi, my name is Abbie Tanner, and this is my case presentation of Ananda and the Himalayas. So, just a couple little facts about exactly what Ananda is and some case background. So, Ananda is located in Rishikesh, India. Its founder is Ashka Kanana. Director is the daughter of the founder, Ashika. The chief operating officer is Mahesh. And just overall, Ananda is known for its luxurious location. And their goal is primarily to teach others about the history of India's ancient health sciences and to create a luxurious wellness experience for its guests. So, just a little bit about how this company came about. So, the founder, Akash Kanana, he wanted to share the Indian experience and wellness with others. And so he traveled all around the world just trying to find the perfect destination spot for this spa of his. And he found this when he returned back to his home in India. And so that is kind of how the location was founded. And it took a lot of thought and effort, which personally I think is amazing for the success of the company. The location has a lot to do, especially with Ananda. So, what all does Ananda have to offer? So, overall, it offers Indian traditions of wellness and healing of the body through the use of practices such as yoga, Ayurveda, and Vendata. And Ayurveda is just an old Indian tradition that focuses on health and wellness. I'm not exactly sure if I am pronouncing those last two correctly, but in this picture, the left picture is just a few people meditating, which is one of the practices that they practice at this wellness spa, which I think is pretty cool. So the central issue of this company that they are facing is that after COVID-19, their industry took a huge hit. And of course, this is very, very common after COVID-19. It messed with a bunch of traveling, stuff like that. So it did take a big hit to their company in that aspect. And the needs of the travelers began to shift. And a big important aspect of a company in order to be successful is that they continue to grow with the expectations and the needs of their customers and those people who travel to visit them. If they are not learning how to expand with what the people want, they will shortly run out of business because people know what they want, and if they can't continue to still, of course, keep the Indian traditions, but while also moving forward into the future, could cause them to fail if they're not able to do that. But another issue that they had was expanding Ananda. It might hurt their brand name if the company is not able to be replicated like Ananda. And this can become an issue because if people travel to visit different locations internationally and it doesn't live up to all of the things that Ananda has to offer, it is going to hurt their business. It's going to hurt their brand name, of course. So that is a fear of theirs. So I have created 3 solutions in order to help solve this issue. So solution number 1 would be to expand internationally with the same brand name. So this would just give others around the world the ability to experience the luxuriousness that Ananda has to offer. Of course, it's going to draw people in with the Ananda name. It is going to attract customers to these different locations around the world. So in order for this solution to be successful, Ananda must replicate it as closely as possible. This can be a challenge because the different locations will not be located specifically in India. So the location is a huge part of this company and it sets it apart from everywhere else. So they really need to work diligently to replicate it as closely as possible. And I think that wellness travelers will recognize that the new locations are not in India. So I think they will be a little more lenient, but it still does need to be replicated as closely as possible for this solution to be successful. And new changes must be implemented to fit the needs and shift towards what people desire post COVID-19. So, of course, they would have to make little minor changes to these locations, but they still need to make sure that the Indian tradition, and because this is what is going to draw people to them, because again, it sets it apart from every other wellness spa. So this brings me to solution 2. This, I feel like, is of course the safest solution, and that is to keep the property located in India and not to expand internationally. This allows visitors to receive the full experience at the original location in India. So this would not cause any concern for whether or not Ananda will be replicated perfectly. And something else that could help expand their company in that one destination, it also allows Ananda to spend all of their money and resources on matching wellness travelers' shifting desires. Other ideas are they can also hire a team of marketing and advertising to help just really kickstart and do more advertising after COVID-19. And I think that also would draw people in if the company had better advertising and marketing. And if new locations are not being opened internationally, that massive amount of money that would be used towards expanding can be used for different things, like adding new additions to the one single property or hiring new people to focus all of their time and attention on making the one location a success. So solution 3, in my opinion, is also a safe option, not as safe as solution 2, of course, but solution 3 is to grow internationally with a different brand name. So this would allow people all over the world to experience similar luxuriousness to Ananda, but without Ananda potentially hurting their brand name. So this would allow Ananda to bring the new and improved company that are working towards pleasing people's shifts and changes of what they want to see at this wellness spa to others around the world. So people are still being able to have a similar Ananda experience, but they are kind of more aware going into it that it's not going to be exactly like Ananda. It's not going to be replicated exactly like Ananda, because again, the different locations will not be located in India. So I think this would not be a terrible option, but again, it is safer than solution 1. So that brings me to what I believe the best result for the issue is. I think it's solution 1. I think that to be able to achieve this solution, Ananda has to be replicated as closely as possible. There needs to be a strict hiring process. I don't think just anyone can be hired. If the company wants to bring as closely as possible Ananda to places all around the world, to people all around the world, they must be able to replicate it as closely as possible. So another thing is offering additional services will attract more travelers to the new locations. And when this solution is successful, people who visit the different locations will eventually want to visit the main location in India, so that will attract more travelers, more business to that single location. And personally, I don't think this is going to hurt the brand name, just as long as hard work is put into the hiring process, finding the perfect location. So just like the founder in the beginning, before Ananda started, he looked for the perfect luxurious location, and he found that in India. I think that the same work, time, and effort needs to be put in when finding additional locations. I don't think it's something that's going to be easy at all, but this risk needs to be taken in order for growth. And so I just think solution one is the best option. Might be risky, but it's very, very, very well achievable, and it can be done just as long as the company is willing to put in the work to get it done and for it to be successful, of course. So some important concepts that I have learned from this case is to evaluate all business decisions and options. So in the case study that I was reading, the director and the chief operating officer and a couple other people all got together, put their brains together, and just thought of ways to solve the solution, just to talk through it. And I think that is so very important when coming up with business decisions. You can't do it all by yourself. Sometimes it's nice to have someone else's input on what they think is a good idea and just to bounce ideas off each other. So that is one thing that I found really important in this case. Another thing is I have learned how to create solutions to solving problems within a company. I found it really, really exciting being able to try to fix this company's concerns and their fears while thinking of the company's best interest and hoping and pushing for the company to grow bigger. And another important thing that I have learned is communicating with those you work with. And like I said, the people in this company that are important to this company, I love how they all got together and discussed one common goal, one common issue, and just worked on focusing on being on the same page for the same end goal, which I think is very amazing and such an important life skill that I am going to take into my future jobs. So another thing that I learned is doing what is best for the company in the long run and being able to adapt to change. That is one thing that is scary, but it happens all of the time in business. People change, people grow, and you just have to be able to adapt to that change. And I think that is why solution one is the best option. We are growing, we are adapting to change with solution one. So I think that is really exciting, and you have to be willing to take risk. But the hard work will make this solution the best and make it the most successful solution out of all the solutions that I have thought of. And on the right here is just a little chart of decision-making process. So first, you articulate decision, you gather the information. This is all seen through this case study. You identify the solution, evaluate, choose the solution, and you implement the solution and review the solution. And I thought this graph was spot on for my thinking process throughout this case study. I went through all of these steps, and it was really, really fun to be able to put this together and just to see, okay, like this is how in real life a business decision is made and how that process is. I think personally that the central message of this case study is that even though companies face problems, you can have a team of people to work with to solve these problems. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to adapt to change, but I think it is very well possible. And I just overall had really a fun time being able to read this case study and to evaluate it and try to come up with the best solution for this company. And I really do think that solution one is the best option, and it will lead this company to success. Thank you.